A rigid psyche doesn't allow to have any objective insight into the insanity going on in the consciousness. Especially if changing smoothly from the primary psychosis, such a disturbed psyche has never had any other insight into its consciousness than the psychotic one. And let's note, the insight, the self-reflection, has since ever been performed by the psychotic self. No wonder then that the feeling of certainty of the psychotic description of the world and of the external self-esteem is not inferior to that of a non-psychotic person and even surpasses it, for a simple reason. The bloated psychotic external self-esteem has a sense of inerrancy, and here comes the insanity of type 1 humanity to close. In the case of type 2 humanity, so anxiety, emotional intelligence, humanity, there is no such certainty of the correctness of the description of the world and of the internal self-esteem. Moreover, the self-critical internal self-esteem will never let you be sure of any point. The natural question arises, where there is a focal point in the consciousness of type 2 humanity? To answer this question, it's worth examining the psychological development of people belonging to type 2 humanity. As remember, people to type 2 humanity recover from the primary psychosis in the adolescence or a little bit later. For this to happen, however, they had to accumulate a sufficiently rich arsenal of the anti-anxiety tools during their childhood and acquire the ability to deal with the emotional stimuli. We call this arsenal of the anti-anxiety tools and emotional control skills the anxiety emotional intelligence. And it is this acquired anxiety emotional intelligence that is decisive to get out of the childhood primary psychosis. After recovering from the primary psychosis, the psyche will be in a completely new situation. It will discover at once an unlimited multiplicity of perspectives and a certain kind of unrestricted freedom in this multi-perspective world, as well as the inevitable risks of failure in such a situation. So feelings completely alien to people who did not recover from the primary psychosis. The latter will continue to see the world as an uncomplicated child's play. They have no reason to feel any confusion, although they see the world in black and white and are unable to create new ideas. They are extremely proud of themselves and know no hesitation. Thus, getting out of the primary psychosis gives freedom and the possibility of being creative, but condemns you to fight your anxiety and emotions on your own. And this is precisely the extremely sensitive focal point in the type 2 humanity consciousness, the anxiety emotional alertness. Let's call it like that. The people of the type 2 humanity, when they part with the primary psychosis in their early youth or later, they part with this naive and childish illusion of reality, and they see this reality now with the eyes of an anxious adult. Now, every moment of freedom from the anxiety will be a result of a hard work, sometimes of a hard fight. And the success in this fight is never granted. As I wrote, only the failures are certain, and the successes will take a long time to come. It's of course always and invariably about successes and failures in the fight against the anxiety and emotions. Because all the troubles and problems of reality of psyche, or of all because all the problems and troubles of the reality, our psyche translates only in the language of anxiety and emotions in the case of type 2 humanity, of course. The psyche of a man who emerged from the primary psychosis translates the reality in the language of anxiety and emotions. No wonder then that the focal point of the type 2 humanity consciousness is the anxiety emotional alertness. Therefore, while the possible psychotherapy of the primary psychosis should aim at reducing the activity of the consciousness in its focal point, that's the psychotic external self esteem, the prevention and psychotherapy of anxiety disorders in non psychotic people should aim at desensitization in the hyperactivity point of consciousness, which is the uh, anxiety emotional alertness point. Both the first and the second task are extremely difficult, on the verge of feasibility, especially regarding the possibility of psychotherapeutic correction of psychosis in the external self-esteem focal point. Let's not forget that we are dealing with the psychosis of the paranoid type. That's a type of psychosis without any, even the slightest sense of a mental disorder, with the absence of the so-called problem insight, due in particular to this zero insight. The psychotherapy of such people makes no sense.